Science, and I am introducing Steph Guttormson today. She is an awful human being. I don't like her, and I hope that you guys go attend some other talk. There's a bunch going on. In reality, she is one of my best friends in the world. I knew her before her transition, and I know her so much better now afterwards. She works at the Richard Dawkins Foundation for Reason and Science, and she is a badass at doing her job. She's also a great trans advocate in the secular community, and I encourage all of you guys to take whatever she has to say to heart, or don't, because I can't tell you guys what to do. So, without further ado, Steph.
Aw, thank you.
Yeah!
Shut up! Whoever that is. Hi, everybody. Hi. So, Pete's a jerk. You have some bleach waiting for you at your house, sweetheart.
I'll pee on you later.
Wonderful. Oh, that's a fun Dogma Debate joke we can talk about later. David's already freaking out. So if you guys have a cell phone, can you hold it up for me really quick? I want to make sure you guys have cell phones. Fantastic. This is a good room. So we are going to try this out. So if you go to this link, you're going to be able to send me questions during the talk. You can also send them to me anonymously if you use a private browsing window or just don't sign into Google. Either way, this link is going to be available at the top throughout the talk, so I'm going to keep going, obviously. But yeah, this is going to be cool to be able to see them. If you are kind of skittish about having your name shown later, I would highly recommend doing an anonymous question. That way I won't know. Or just, anyway.
Is there like a number up there? Because I can't see it all.
It is KGCXG9.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it'll be at the top throughout, hopefully. So, Callie kind of stole a little thunder, but it's okay. She's the only person I allow to steal my thunder. We want to know what an ally is. At least I want to know what an ally is. You guys are late. We're out of school and you're late for class. You're fine. Just letting you guys know, if you want to ask questions, you can go to that link at the top. So, what is an ally? Oh, good. This is consistent. Now you know where I'm at. Great. An ally is simply someone who advocates for and supports members of a community other than their own. So, like, has anyone heard of Black Lives Matter? Maybe, occasionally. Something recently happened. So, advocating for things like that makes you an ally to that. And I'm not speaking specifically to trans issues, though. Obviously, that's a big thing I do. This can be applied to any marginalized group. My goodness, the lateness is just rampant. All right, so I want to tell you some ideas we need to flesh really quick. When I mean we, I mean as a society, not everyone in this room. There's not enough toilets. Anyway, it's fine. And, you know, I'm sure everyone here is mostly good, except Pete and Callie. Although I love both of them. Anyway, let's...
No, you don't.
Yeah, I don't love you. Okay. So, first idea, we need to flesh. I've actually heard this. Someone has said being an ally is hard because members of a marginalized group can't agree on what it means to be a good ally. Now, Callie kind of touched on this towards the end of her talk, I think a little bit. Allies can get kind of frustrated with all the stuff they don't know sometimes, and being in a constant state of learning can be kind of a pain. But just because members of a marginalized group don't agree on a thing doesn't mean that there isn't a happy medium or a way to make most people happy. For instance, try figuring out a good way to navigate this is to figure out what the differences are and why they have differences. See both sides of the argument and make up your own mind. It's skepticism, baby. I should be able to rely on each member of this marginalized community because they're all experts on their oppression. That's not true. I learn all the time. I'm wrong, really, quite a bit. So I always try to correct my mistakes, but I don't get mad about it. I hear this all the time. They're like, well, so-and-so said, or I have a friend that's. You've heard that, right? Like, I have a friend that's this group or that group. I have a friend that's trans. So what I told you, even if it's wrong, is right, or what have you. That's not true. Imagine, like, you could be like a race car driver or really good at watching television. Those are good things, right? Like, so as far as the TV goes, you could be really good at watching TV but not know how it works and not know how to fix it, right? So what I want you to take away from this is to know that just because that these people don't have expertise on their like oppression, they do experience it, and that's the part you should pay most attention to, honestly, because the whys and the hows are hotly debated, and some people are right, some people are wrong, but what's never wrong is their experience. Goodness, there's a lot of these. I've listened to my friends of that. Yeah, we've talked about that. Steph, you're an idiot. You don't know how to write talks. Cool. So, activism means X, and I don't see how that form of activism or the other form of activism will help this marginalized group. It can also be expressed as, but there's no activism rule book. So because there's no standard, people make up their own and then try to make it the right way to do it. But like Callie said, her and I don't get along on everything. But that's fine. We do it civilly for the most part, except when I troll her occasionally. But like she said in her talk, and I was actually pretty happy to hear that just because we have different approaches doesn't mean they're not effective. Oh goodness. What are the issues? I don't know. Let's find out. I'm sure they're on the next slide. God, I'm good at this. So you've probably heard, oh, well, this trans issue or that trans issue, and it's usually boiled down to like a meme, and it's fun, it's good to share, it's a good way to raise awareness, but the real issues that we face kind of get pushed to the side, and kind of as groups, I would kind of like to see you guys be pushing this both in your events, your advocacy, and any of your activism as a group. So a lot of this stuff can apply to your campus because your campus generally offers health insurance of some kind, or is required. At least when I went to college many moons ago, back before the internet. No, I'm kidding, I'm not that old. They had a requirement that said that we had to have health insurance, and it had to go through the school. But I didn't know I wasn't, we're not going to go into my story. Point being, not all healthcares, as you know, in general, cover that stuff, but healthcare on campus should, and specifically gender-affirming surgery. Now, that's probably outside the scope of most insurance for schools, but in your communities and in your state, you should be advocating for that out of either healthcare laws, which can force health insurance companies to do it, which is kind of the case in DC, or in other states like Maryland. And yes, that is true. Healthcare on campus for trans people can be lacking or non-existent, which is a problem. So if you know about that, check your school's policies, and that's a thing you can help change. The homelessness of trans youth is just crazy. LGBT youth in general. 40% of all the homeless youth are LGBT. That's terrifying, and we need to fix that. But there's ways you guys can structure events such that these are the people that you're helping. The familial shunning, Callie kind of touched on it, where people have been kicked out of their house, obviously, because there's lots of homeless youth. There's also situations, well, that's mostly it, sorry. Getting a little off track. So the familial shunning can be both making sure that they can't express their identity, whatever it happens to be, because they're scared to come out, or it means that they're homeless. Housing and employment insecurity. Did you know that in the state of Ohio, at least according to some dubious sources of mine, that you could technically be fired for being one of the letters in that acronym, LGBT? So if I were employed in Ohio, someone could fire me for being trans, and then I have no recourse. That's a valid reason to fire someone. That's not just in Ohio, it's in a lot of other states. And it's kind of sad. Same thing goes for housing. Like, a landlord can kick you out if you're LGBT, and there's no equal protection. It only goes for religion, race, that kind of thing. Equality in sports and participation at all levels. So you guys have probably heard plenty of times that, oh, well, this trans person can't participate with the gender with which they identify because, and then just list a whole bunch of horrible uninformed reasons, like, oh, hormone levels, whatever. If you want to know something about hormone levels in that argument really quickly, the hormone levels of most trans people, or of a lot of trans people, are either at the norm for cis people or below in certain aspects. Like, I think I have less testosterone than most cis people because of my HRT. So saying that that's going to give me an advantage in, say, any sport, regardless of what it is nonsense. But this can help in your campus too. If your campus doesn't have equality in their sports, regardless of what you think of sports, I know it's all a bunch of nonsense. I like it though. So I just didn't, if you guys know Nick Stancato, he hates sports, and it's fun to mess with him. So, but still, this is something that is important and can be something you guys can affect. Has anyone heard of North Carolina, that state? Okay.
Not really.
Yeah, it's this toilet right above South Carolina. So, yeah. So, isn't that, see? Did you see what I did there? Anyway, there's bathroom bills in North Carolina that basically make it illegal for me to use the right bathroom, what I consider the right bathroom. And a friend of mine on Facebook, it was so funny, I saw this the other day. She said, I don't usually brag about breaking the law, but I just went and used the bathroom in North Carolina. So I thought that was good. That was cute.
You're gonna help us with that.
I forgot, but I want to do the same thing. But I want to do it like throughout the state until they catch me. And take all the pictures and send them to all the legislators. So if you guys want to fund me going to North Carolina to do that, feel free. Access to legal resources and identity documentation. I'm lucky enough to live in the District of Columbia where I have no vote, but I do have plenty of resources to trans healthcare. They're extremely good about it. I actually have a clinic I go to that's completely inclusive and is specifically for the LGBT community. It's called Whitman Walker Health. They give me my hormones. They make sure I have therapy. They make sure I have all my stuff to do the thing I need to do. But I'm lucky. I'm so lucky to have that. I would like to see that kind of thing be everywhere. And if your campus gives access to other kind of medical resources and legal resources, they should be offering this as well. There's a law firm in DC called Translaw, and they do clinics at Whitman Walker Health. And during these clinics, they will do all of your paperwork basically for you, save for a few things that you have to, fill out or sign in person. And they give you a checklist. Do this, do this, do this. And it's for the 3 or 4 major, so it's DC, Maryland, and Virginia are the 3 areas that they deal with as far as identification. With their help, I was able to change everything from my driver's license, social security number, and any other identifying information in about 4 months. Usually it takes much, much longer. And it was just step by step by step, and it was totally fine. Those kind of resources should be available to literally everyone. This is sad, and is actually kind of a result of all the reasons that this stuff exists. All of these things exist here. I know that's a stupid red light. So all of these things exist because of prejudice, bigotry, those kind of things. And that stuff enables this. I don't mean to make you sad, but I'm going to have to tell you facts. That's my job. That's my approach. 41% of all suicide attempts are trans people versus 4.6% of the population otherwise. People who aren't trans only commit suicide 4.6% of the time, whereas trans people it's 41. Now, we can either say that it's a result of them being trans, Or, more likely, that it's because people are making their lives damn near impossible to live. And we can help that by being an inclusive space like Callie was talking about quite a bit. That's probably the best solution, is to make sure that your trans members feel like they are just another one of the members instead of being tokenized. Fantastic. Now that I've really depressed the hell out of you, you're going to want to be like, I really want to fix these things. How do I do it? You can take action by doing some very, very good things. Like Callie was saying, and probably her entire talk is this whole slide. So thanks, Callie, for taking that. I'll skip through it very quickly, but you can partner with on-campus LGBT plus groups or organizations. That includes student organizations like that too. I think there's one out here I didn't have time to put in my talk. Is Urge is another good resource for that. You can protest the unfair laws and policies in solidarity with trans people. That can go for on campus and in general, which we'll get to in a second. You can support state-level transgender advocacy organizations. Some of them might not be obvious. Things like the ACLU often advocate for trans rights, but you wouldn't think of them as necessarily an organization to work with. So just keep that in mind, that if they're working for equal rights in general, the likelihood that they're advocating for trans rights is pretty high. Advocate for change on your college campus. Now this goes for health insurance, this goes for sports, everything. If you find that your campus is not inclusive in some way, housing, employment, whatever, make noise about it. Because the more noise you make, the more likely it is they're not going to want to deal with that PR problem and change it. I'm sorry, that's the truth. They don't care, they just don't want a bad image. Mental health services are on the top of that list though. Need those badly. Not saying we're crazy, I'm just saying you need therapy when you've been basically repressed your whole life. You have stuff to go through. You can lobby your state lawmakers about this. Now, the Secular Coalition for America, if you know about them, can help you get ready to lobby. I know David and Brandy from Dogma Debate went to lobby days this year, right? And they learned how to lobby their local government, which is a huge, huge skill to have. I don't have it because I would just tell them their asses. But they are most of the people I want to talk to, and Paul. So here we go. This is mostly what I want you to be able to do. I want you to be an organization that promotes LGBT equality. Don't just work with them, be one of them. Be a group that does those things that, I mean, you're going to have common ground, but actually go out and do the advocacy as a group. Make it a part of what your group is. And when you're tabling, educate others. You need to be visible, showing support for trans students. The more visible people are that are supporting them, the more likely it is you're going to change minds. And I heard a cool quote, I don't know where it's from, but I don't want you to underestimate the power of planting a seed. Don't do it, because even if they're going to disagree with you, even if they're going to be a jerk or a bigot, if you calmly explain how and why they're wrong, even nicely, even if they don't agree with you or if they don't walk away with you feeling like that you changed their mind, don't worry about it. You put the information in their brains. They can't undo that. Okay, they've heard you now. They know the info, they know better. So, I think I wrapped that up pretty nicely, so I can have nice time for questions, which I will take shortly. But if you want the sources and resources for this talk, you can go there. I'm going to leave this up for the remainder of for most of the Q&A, unless I'm showing questions. And you can follow me on this stuff. That's my page. I have a personal Facebook account. I'm only adding people I know. So know me, I'll add you. Otherwise, you can like my page there. I'm on YouTube. I haven't made videos in a while. It's a long story, but I'm going to start probably in a month or so. And you can follow me on places where I say stupid crap and take stupid pictures. So I want to thank you guys, and we're going to move on to questions here in a second. Thank you. Cool. Yay! We can, yeah. I'm moving on to questions. Fine. So, first question I got was from James. Hi, James. Let me back here. Can you be fired for being intersex? Yes. it's, as far as that goes, I'm actually not quite sure, since it's medical, and whereas these other things are usually viewed as choices, wrongly, I might add, but choices nonetheless. And I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure that would probably get a company in trouble, even if it wasn't necessarily the law. I'm pretty sure they'd win in court, though. It would be my guess. Let's see. Goodness. Anonymous. Those hackers. Does that organization that helps you with your paperwork take people from out of state, or are there resources like that in other areas? That's what I would love to know. I haven't heard of one. I'm good friends with Zenia Jones. She knows more resources than I could possibly list off. And I've never heard her talk about such a law firm. But it's called TransLaw. And if you want to email me or tweet at me or whatever, I can get you their contact info and see if they know other places that do that. This is off topic, but I do want to answer it because I get this question a lot. There we go, present. So if you don't know who Adam is, see, everyone knows who Adam is, good. If you don't know who Adam is, he sued me last year because I told him he didn't have magical spirit powers to heal kids with cancer. I take offense to people that say they can faith heal kids out of cancer, because that's taking advantage of very desperate sad people with a very serious problem, using a method that doesn't work and fleecing them out of their money. So I made a video or two because David Smalley had pointed this guy out. He goes, this guy is a really weird drawl and he's wrong and he's dangerous. You should do a video on him. Sure, David, fine. Thanks for getting me sued. So 5 months later, goodness, sandals. 5 months later, I get basically served, here, we're suing you. And in the process of suing me, in response videos he made, he doxed my birth name, also known as the dead name. So he made not only the fact that I'm trans public, though I haven't really shied away from that. Even on my YouTube channel, my intro is, hi, I'm an atheist skeptic, I'm trans, blah, 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 and I say all the things I am. So I didn't shy away from it. But anyway, I destroyed him. If you want to know the end of the sentence, because I only got a couple minutes, I destroyed his life. He doesn't have he has a website dedicated to fighting specifically me, even though it says Faith Warriors. There's a page all about what a terrible person I am. Oh, it's great. Is there a question in the back, Callie?
Oh, I was just going to say, as far as changing identity documents,
yes.
There are actually some states where it's really easy, and you don't, like for Ohio, for example. Ohio sucks because you can't change your birth certificate for any reason under any circumstances ever. But if you want to change the gender marker on your ID, you literally have to have a doctor or therapist write a letter to the DMV.
That's what I did too. So, that was in Maryland, but yes.
So there are some places where it's so easy that you don't even need the services of a law firm. So it's really state specific.
No, yeah, it's true. What the law firm was providing wasn't so much. They were providing help you navigating the steps, the paperwork, those kind of things, which is incredibly helpful, because even though it might be easy to do it, finding the information to do it finding the information about how to do it might be difficult. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a good question, because this is something I hate talking about. Have you had any negative experiences with feminists because they didn't feel if you could truly relate? Yeah, so this is kind of a have you met any TERFs or feminists that are hard to talk to? Yeah, I don't have a real good track record with feminists because I tend to ask questions that they don't like. That doesn't mean I believe the questions. I just ask things and I get crappy answers. But as far as me being trans, no, I haven't had any problems with them. I generally tend to stay away from TERFs, rad femmes in general. I know bad things are going to happen to me for saying all those words. Good. So I think that's it. I have to stop? Yay, I have to stop. Yay. So if you want things, you can go to that, and I'm going to leave it up until they take my thing down. Thank you very much.